Hi, kindergartners. So one of my very favorite things to do is read chapter books with my students. However, unfortunately, we are not given enough time during the day to do that. So I thought it would be a better choice if I recorded some videos for you where I read the chapter book to you, and then we can kind of do home chapter book studies. So the first book that I'm going to read to you is about one of my very favorite creatures. It's about a dragon. And you'll see me pull out a lot tubs in the classroom where I've sorted the books into different topics. So this is my book box that's all about dragons. So all of these stories have dragons in them. And we're going to be sharing them during our live Zoom meetings. But this book is a chapter book about a dragon, and it's called My Father's Dragon. And one of the neatest things about this book is that when you open up the front cover, it has an awesome map that shows where the story takes place. And this story takes place on an island called Wild Island. So you can see that behind me, I have that map on the wall. Now this is kind of interesting because this story isn't true. This story is fiction, which means false. So it's make-believe, but it's such a good one. So you'll see here also I have my dragon friends that stay up here for our story. And you'll see also here I have the word dragon written up. And I'm going to keep it right here. And as we read about different creatures in the story, I'll write different names or put different names up here for you. So if you want to do your own writing, you can pause me at any time and you could do your own drawing of a dragon or your own drawing of a map, okay? So this story is called My Father's Dragon, and I'm going to start today by reading you chapter 1. And then after you read chapter 1, you can log on to read chapter 2 or 3 or 4 and until we are done with the whole book. I believe this book has 10 chapters, so it'll take us 10 videos to get through. All right, chapter 1. Is called My Father Meets the Cat. And I'm going to show you this picture while I read the first page. One cold, rainy day, when my father was a little boy, he met an old alley cat on his street. The cat was very drippy and uncomfortable. So my father said, "Wouldn't you like to come home with me?" This surprised the cat. She had never before met anyone who cared about old alley cats, but she said, "I'd be very much obliged if I could sit by a warm furnace and perhaps have a saucer of milk." "We have a very nice furnace to sit by," said my father, "and I'm sure my mother has an extra saucer of milk." My father and the cat became good friends. But my father's mother was very upset about the cat. She hated cats, particularly ugly old alley cats. "Elmer Elevator," she said to my father, "if you think I'm going to give that cat a saucer of milk, you're very wrong. Once you start feeding stray alley cats, you might as well expect to feed every stray in town, and I am not going to do it." This made my father very sad, and he apologized to the cat because his mother had been so rude. He told the cat to stay anyway, and that somehow he would bring her a saucer of milk each day. My father fed the cat for 3 weeks. But one day, his mother found the cat's saucer in the cellar, and she was extremely angry. She whipped my father and threw the cat out the door. But later on, My father sneaked out and found the cat. Together, they went for a walk in the park and tried to think of nice things to talk about. My father said, "When I grow up, I'm going to have an airplane. Wouldn't it be wonderful to fly just anywhere you might think of?" "Would you like to fly very, very much?" asked the cat. "Oh, I certainly would. I'd do anything if I could fly." "Well," said the cat, "if you'd really like to fly that much, I think I know of a sort of way you might get to fly while you're still a little boy." "You mean, you know where I can find an airplane?" "Well, not exactly an airplane, but something even better." Something even better to fly in than an airplane? Do you have any guesses to what that might be? "As you can see, I'm an old cat now, but in my younger days, I was quite a traveler. My traveling days are over, but last spring, I took just one more trip and sailed to the island of Tangerina, stopping at the port of Cranberry. Well, it just so happened that I missed the boat, and while waiting for the next, I thought I'd look around a bit. I was particularly interested in a place called Wild Island, which we had passed on our way to Tangerina. Wild Island and Tangerina are joined together by a long string of rocks. But people never go to Wild Island because it's mostly jungle and inhabited by very wild animals. So I decided to go across the rocks and explore it for myself. It certainly is an interesting place, but I saw something there that made me want to weep." And that's the end of chapter 1. So there's a lot of information in there. This old cat started talking to this little boy about his trip. And the places that he talked about are right here on this map. He talked about how when he was at the island of Tangerina, he was very interested on going to Wild Island. But he said that no one ever goes to Wild Island because it's inhabited by wild animals. Inhabited is a big word. It means wild animals live there. And if you look closely at this, you can see how many things are on this island. And I can see, because I'm sitting a little bit closer, I can scooch you a tad bit closer. You can see there's lots of trees, like the forests, and there's lots of animals. I can even show you up close on the picture in the book. Okay. So he said that the rocks connect the two islands, and you can see these ocean rocks right here, and they do connect, sort of like a bridge. But he said that nobody goes to Wild Island. So this cat decided he was going to go, or she, I'm sorry, it's a girl cat. She decided she was going to go. But then when she got over there, she said she saw something that made her want to weep. Now, weep is another word for cry. So she saw something over on Wild Island that was so terrible that it made her want to cry. And that's where the writer of this book stops chapter 1. And you might think, well, that's a terrible place to stop chapter 1. What did she see? What did she see? Well, this is called a cliffhanger. And it means it makes you want to read chapter 2 because you want to find out what it is. So today I'm only reading chapter 1 to you, but you can definitely go on, find the video for My Father's Dragon chapter 2, and we will see what happens to the cat and the little boy in the next chapter. All right? So there's no place like home. Get some sleep tonight. Mwah. Bye, Kinders.